So we have a lot of people out there in the MAGA cult still that need to wake up. I feel like a lot of them have no idea what's going on in the world right now, like what's really going on, and they need a refresh on what the movement actually was back in 2016 and what we actually voted for. Because right now, they're just letting Trump step all over them like a bunch of cucks, letting another guy sleep with their wife, and they're just like thankful to watch. Like, how many promises is he going to keep breaking after lie after lie after promise after promise? Like, how much is it going to take for them to wake up? Let's show them with this video. Real quick before we begin, please don't forget to follow me on my other social media platforms. All the links will be down in the description below. Help me to keep exposing the lies of the liberal juice box media and to keep standing up for the truth and to give me a reason to keep wanting to make these videos. Your support helps. I appreciate it. Let's get into the video. So this isn't going to go in any particular order, but I think the first thing Trump definitely backflipped on for me was gun control. You see, Trump campaigned on being pro-Second Amendment and not infringing on any of our gun rights. Here's the clip.
Your Second Amendment rights are under siege, but they will never, ever be under siege as long as I'm your president.
Throughout his first term, Trump implemented the red flag laws, which gave the judges the right to seize all your firearms if they suspected you of causing any danger. But this law can also be used by the Democrat judges to take guns away from innocent civilians based on false reports and something as simple as a social media post, because they decide what makes an individual dangerous.
Thursday, we hear James O'Keefe in Florida is raided by the police. And it turns out it's a new form of swatting where an individual that he was reporting that was saying he was going to kill him then said that he reported he was going to kill him, so they went and confiscated his guns, but the next day the judge gave him the guns back yesterday. And I've been swatted. My crew's been swatted. Similar crap like this has happened. I don't usually give it attention. But this is the dirty tricks they engage in. Here's some raw footage, it's clip 12, of the police who obviously know that it's a fraud, but they've got a court order, they got to be there. Turns out it was the left threatening James O'Keefe, not the other way around. Here it is.
I can definitely go back.
Yeah.
It's on the paper.
Date of birth and everything? I'll get it when we get down, make sure.
Trump also implemented bump stock bans back in 2018, which divided the gun rights community, causing organizations like the Gun Owners of America and the NRA to lead a year-long legal fight to overturn the rule, but in the end, many states still kept it as a law. Trump's very own FBI director, who he directly put in charge himself, said live on TV that you cannot bring a loaded gun to a protest.
Said you cannot bring a firearm loaded with multiple magazines to any sort of protest that you want. It's that simple. You don't have that right to break the law and incite violence. We will, of course, always protect your First Amendment speech. And if you peacefully protest, there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. But you have seen a trend here, not just in Minnesota, but across the country, in these protests turning into violent scenarios and people attacking law enforcement. That's when you go over the line.
Like, what the hell is this shit? Of course we have the right. How do you think people protected themselves during the Black Lives Matter riots? Remember Kyle Rittenhouse? Yeah. That kid would not be alive today if that were the case. I would say Trump definitely flip-flopped his stance on gun control. I mean, obviously, and he's been nothing but a net negative to the cause. The second thing Trump failed with was COVID. Donald Trump was publicly declared by himself the father of the vaccine and was the active creator and leader of Project Warp Speed, which sought to fast-track the COVID vaccine and get it to the people as quick as possible, skipping human trials and going straight out to the public, for us to end up being the guinea pigs for Big Pharma.
And have you seen any other vaccine that was put out for the public that skipped the animal test?
Never before, especially for children.
And as what I've read, they actually started the animal test, and because the animals were dying, they stopped the test.
Correct.
Folks, I think that's important to understand there, that what we're talking about is the American people are now the guinea pigs. This is the test program that's going on. They didn't do the human testing, and they stopped the animal test because the animals were dying, and then they turned it out for the public. And we are now looking at businesses that want to mandate that this experimental vaccine be given to people as a condition of their employment.
To this day, estimates say that over 30 million people have died and more injured due to the COVID vaccine.
I'm going to tell you, intuitively sounds ridiculous. That's why it's so incredibly important that I say this. These numbers are best estimates at this point in time using government data for the global consequences of the clot shot in terms of death and morbidity, otherwise known as serious adverse events such as heart attack, strokes, pulmonary emboli, etc. And these are the numbers. Deaths, global deaths, directly attributable to the vaccine, 20 million, 20 million, and 2 billion, big B, 2 billion serious adverse reactions of the type I described. To contrast that with history, vaccines have typically been pulled from the market when the last one, the bird flu vaccine, was pulled with only 35 deaths. I hope people can appreciate the scale of what is going on here.
Over and over again, we were told it would be impossible to deliver a vaccine by the end of the year. All of the experts said, absolutely unthinkable. Trump is exaggerating. It can't happen. And we did it long before the end of the year. They said it would take a medical miracle, and that's exactly what it is. Years from now, they'll be talking about it. They'll be talking about this great, great thing that we did with the vaccines. A truly unprecedented, amazing medical miracle.
And yet he still brags about how good it was and refuses to admit that he was wrong. Dr. Fauci was also one of the main culprits in these crimes, but he even took it a step further. He legally conducted experiments on dogs for over 40 years, injecting them with human fetal cells, removing their vocal cords so they couldn't bark, tying them up in cages, and watching sandflies eat them alive. Yeah, I don't think I need to say any more on this topic, but just know that Dr. Fauci is still a free man, and Trump has done nothing to stop him. He's failed to serve justice, all while having total Republican control over the House, Senate, and presidency. Donald Trump was the father of the vaccine, the lockdowns, the masks, and everything he did in the end killed so many people. This is by far one of Trump's biggest failures. Never forget. Never forget what they've done to us. The third thing Trump has completely flip-flopped on is his illegal immigration stance. Trump ran on mass deportations and hosting the largest deportation operation in history.
Starting on day one, I will seal the border and stop the migrant invasion into our country. We will begin the largest deportation operation in the history of the United States.
But has he done that? No. In terms of the raw numbers, Bill Clinton deported over 12 million illegals in his 2 terms. Obama deported over 5.3 million illegals in his 8 years, consisting of both formal removals and returns, awarding him the name Deporter-in-Chief. But Donald Trump, in his 6 years so far, has deported 2.1 million illegals with an estimate of 2.2 million self-deportations that are still unverified. Donald Trump is doing a terrible job at mass deportations.
Tested operations in a variety of ways, variety of manners, variety of places, because, and this is very important, because you had seen nothing yet. You had seen nothing yet. What was coming post Minnesota was going to be something spectacular. And, you know, I wish I had gotten to brief Trump a little more on this. Kristi Noem did a great job briefing. But what was coming was massive, was going to be utterly effective, and was designed to rid this country once and for all of those 100 million illegal aliens. And I think had we done that, American citizens had seen that affordability become, you know, something that was positive. And American citizens had seen what would have happened if we'd removed that 100 million illegal aliens. You talk about a boon for the conservatives. Holy cow, that really would have helped the conservative movement. We just needed a few more months there. And, you know, man battle stations, all hands on deck. We had something special lined up. And it's too bad that didn't take place.
We're never going to finish building the wall. We're never going to preserve American jobs. We're never going to bring justice to these criminal illegal aliens that leech off our tax dollars and destroy our country from within.
President Trump is actually in New York right now campaigning for pro-amnesty Mike Lawler. So I don't want to hear this garbage that, oh, we're principled because Massey didn't vote for the big, beautiful bill. We're principled because Massey is not strong enough on immigration and border security. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, MAGA. Oh, well, then why is Trump endorsing multiple candidates that have sponsored a bill for amnesty for illegal aliens? Come on, principled Republicans. Come on, MAGA.
To make matters even worse, Trump has approved millions of H-1B visa recipients, which, just like illegal immigrants, still end up taking our jobs, and has publicly stated that we need to import more of these people with talent because we have no talented workers here in the United States.
Republicans have to talk about it later.
And does that mean the H-1B visa thing will not be a big priority for your administration? Because if you want to raise wages for American workers, you can't flood the country with tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of foreign workers.
You also do have to bring in talent.
When we have plenty of talented people here.
No, you don't.
We don't have talented people here?
No, you don't have certain talents, and people have to learn. You can't take people off an unemployment line and say, I'm going to put you into a factory where we're going to make missiles, or I'm going to put
How did we ever do it for?
Well,
when you and I were...
So, yeah, Trump failed on yet another humongous campaign promise. Now, this one isn't going to be a huge issue for a lot of people, but Trump failed on the idea of abortion as well. As a Christian nation, well, supposedly a Christian nation, we cannot allow child sacrifice and death on a mass scale like what we're doing right now. It goes completely against our moral and religious beliefs. Even though Trump overturned Roe v. Wade, he still made the final decision to leave it up to the states to decide. And if he were a real Christian conservative man of God, he would have just banned it at the federal level. This just further proves that he's a fake Christian. The most disgusting failure on the list for Trump is the Epstein files. One of Trump's main campaign promises was on releasing the Epstein files, which still have not been fully released even till today. The world's largest child sex trafficking ring should not be covered up. It should be out in the public so we can bring justice to the people that participated in this cruelty.
34 crimes, but no one on Epstein's list has even been brought to light. I'm trying to figure out how that's possible, right, folks? It's almost like they're trying to protect those pedophiles for some reason. I can't imagine why, right?
Why is the FBI protecting the greatest pederast, the largest scale pederast in human history?
Simple, because of who's on that list.
Everybody in politics has a vice that's much worse than alcoholism, is the way that I put it. But we
release the list.
Seriously, we need to release the Epstein list. That is an.
Well, I haven't been overly interested in it. You know, it's a hoax that's been built up way beyond proportion. I can say this: those files were run by the worst scum on earth. They were run by Comey. They were run by Garland. They were run by Biden. And by the way, I never went to the island, and Bill Clinton went there supposedly 28 times. I didn't do it for that reason, but it bothers me that somebody's going after Bill Clinton. See, I like Bill Clinton. I still like Bill Clinton.
What do you like about him?
I liked his behavior toward me. I thought he got me. He understood me. You know, he was the one that said very famously that you don't want to run against Trump when there were 18 people. It was 18 people, including me, total. And he kept telling them, you don't want to run against Trump. Run against anyone. Don't run against Trump.
Awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Yeah, because you'd be in jail.
Secretary Clinton.
Even if a lot of them are in high positions of power, it doesn't matter. Trump was elected to drain the swamp and expose the deep state, not cover them up and not let them off the hook. And what makes it worse is that they're actively redacting and removing files day by day, so we can't even see them anymore. What's the point of releasing them if we can't see the names and nobody's held accountable?
This election's go-to is the stock market. Even Pam Bondi during the congressional hearings, the stock market's at 50,000. I'm like, what does the stock market got to do with any of this? These people guilty, you need to bring these people to justice and get, justice for the victims. It was such a slap in the face when Trump said the Epstein files is a hoax. Yeah. A hoax. How can he come out and say that when he ran on that? Yeah. How can Pam Bondi says the Epstein files are on my desk, and then he usher in influencers to hold up these empty binders with no information.
And by the way,
that's why I love Elon so much.
People, because he's so successful, say, oh, he must be bad. And maybe he was bad in the past, but he's made a turn. Trump's turning towards evil. Musk is just better and better. Musk said, get rid of the EV mandate, all that. And then he was not even getting government contracts. He was in there cutting all this stuff. And then he found out about Trump and Epstein and said, he's in there. There's a cover-up coming. And then he left. I mean, you got to really hand it to him.
I don't think this is a ploy and that they're some kind of musician, Israelis and Israel government pulling his rules over Trump. He's either in on it or he's being blackmailed, because what he's doing now is just a total about face what he had promised everybody here that voted for him.
And it's not just this issue. They killed almost all the investigations into stuff against him. The auto pin against the voter. All of it's being killed. The investigations into weaponization against his supporters, all being killed. And so I never wanted access or want, like all his main orbit, all get business deals and all that stuff's going on. I've never tried to be in the establishment. I want to be the guy that's separate from it. But what I did love was, wow, we've got Ed Martin. They've created a task force. He's got all this proof. He's going after him for all this stuff. He had the goods. He had on the auto pin. The chief of staff said, no, state's evidence. They had a committee illegally doing it. He thought he was going to go to jail. And then Todd Blanche just killed it and removed Ed Martin. So, no, Trump absolutely has to be compromised. And from all my intel, it's not him, but it's people very close to him. And it's very bad stuff that Epstein had. And Epstein was an Israeli operative. That's come out in the documents. It's in the emails. And also MI6 and CIA, because they're all mafia. They let you operate unless they're together. And that's a lot of the Trump orbit, which are former Democrats. Because literally, it's almost no Republicans have ever been found in this, okay? But he brought in all these Democrats, and it's them, and they've got Trump orbit screwing kids and worse. And so that's it. That's why they got him.
But the worst part about it is instead of just exposing the pedos, he sits there in his office and just calls it a Democrat hoax. Like, how crazy is that? And Melania Trump, she comes out in public and says it's not a hoax and that the files should be investigated and that she had no part in it. Like, what the hell is even going on?
And I'm just so sad that whatever's happened to him has totally changed the man he once was. He did so much good. That said, it followed just a few hours after Melania Trump came out, unannounced. Reportedly, Trump didn't know, and said she wasn't involved with Epstein and she supports a full investigation by Congress into the Epstein cover-up. Trump says Epstein's a hoax. So this reminds me of...
That is not a hoax, bro.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy.
Okay.
Melinda French, but she started turning against Bill, also over Epstein. So Trump's got big problems, folks. And I am just so concerned about this country and the world. Trump's being led around with the nose by Netanyahu and by Mark Levin and others. And
yes, Alex. Yes, finally.
Calling out Mark Levin.
He can see the leashes now all around Trump's neck.
It's so sad. The Iran war is a total disaster. A black eye for America. They control the Strait of Hormuz. It is just absolutely incredible what we're seeing and what we're facing. I supported the old Trump that got so many good things done. But at the end of the day, I just feel sorry for him and pray that God touch his heart and soul and free him from the demonic influences that he's under. I mean, it's just that simple. This is a nightmare. We know the Democrats, the left, are absolutely terrible. But when Trump's calling for wiping out whole civilizations and acting like a supervillain, I have to come out.
And that made him really hard to defend. You know, I saw a burst of MAGA supporters really go, oh, when Trump let out that tweet, I saw a lot of the MAGA base go, all right, yeah, this is a sinking ship once he let out that Truth Social post. So, Trump has been digging his own grave. I said if he's just been taking it easy, if he had just prior learned to control his fingers on Truth Social, he wouldn't have been receiving this much hate. A lot of the hate is just coming from his rhetoric more than his actions. His actions, of course, we're always attacking them because we can see through the bullshit, but the rhetoric now, he's digging his own grave. He's making things a lot worse than they need to be, letting out these genocidal Truth Social posts and everything like that. And then 10 seconds later, calling for a ceasefire and saying he wants the Iranian people to be great. It's like, you can tell he's kind of losing it.
He's contradicting himself all over the place.
All over the place, man.
Trump's own wife came out in an unannounced press conference today and said the Epstein.
Yeah, guys, and I didn't mention this, but Melania Trump came out and defended herself in regards to being involved in the Epstein files, which is funny that it's coming out now, of course, in the midst of all of this, when things cool down, of course, now that comes out for something else to distract the people with. But yeah.
Crimes are real and that she wants the victims to be in front of Congress to cover up the end. That's the opposite of what Trump's saying. Looks to me like she's breaking with Trump because she knows the ship's sinking, has found out the truth. Elon left 8 months ago saying he's in the files as covered up. I never saw any evidence of it, but he's acting like he's guilty. We know he's protecting Howard Lutnick, who said he didn't know Epstein to go to the island, and he did. So all I can say is this is a terrible day, and it's a nightmare for America and the world, but I'm going to tell the truth, report on the facts, no matter what it is. Was I somewhat naive? Did I defend Trump too long? He did so much good? Yeah, I did. Are people that said I defended him too long? Or believing he was the lesser of two evils? And I guess at the end of the day, justice be done by the evidence fall. There's no such thing as lesser of two evils. So I took the establishment attacking him as the sign I should support him. I took myself being attacked for supporting him as the sign I should support him. And now it's certainly clear that this new Donald Trump is somebody we should support, and I'm not. So I'm energetically opposing him. I'm calling for this 25th Amendment if he continues to call for nuclear war and genocide. Hopefully he backs down. We'll continue to report this as it unfolds, but that's the facts. Melania Trump, they've said, was turning against Trump years ago. I never believed it, but now she's definitely countermanding what he said and done, saying there's nothing to Epstein. She's saying there is, should be investigated. I stand with Melania Trump, and I stand with the truth. I stand with the victims of Epstein against the Epstein class.
Enough games. We need to start making arrests. But then again, that's another one of Trump's problems. He's all talk, no game. Not one single person from the swamp has even been arrested yet. And he's never going to fully release the files unless they're heavily redacted at most. He's just a joke. He's trying to play with us and see how much bullshit we can take. If it's just a hoax, why doesn't he just release the files? Obviously, something else is going on here. After campaigning to arrest the Clinton crime family, he's done a complete 180 and now supports and defends Bill Clinton publicly, who is literally a deep state operative. And he's in the Epstein files, shown taking pictures with little girls and going to the island, I think it's like 28 times. And anybody that wants to criticize him or just simply ask like what he's doing with the files, and this is what he has to say about them.
Contradicted the swirling conspiracies and said they would not release more evidence. Attorney General Pam Bondi has been taking the heat from angered MAGA allies, with some now directed at the president himself.
If you talk about this, I'm going to excommunicate you. Well, you're not the Pope, bro.
So he doesn't want our support anymore because we want pedos to actually be brought to justice. Donald Trump is literally a freaking scumbag, like a filth of the earth kind of person for that. Donald Trump has been a supporter of the LGBTQ community ever since the beginning, and not one of us ever batted an eye to it. As a Christian, we cannot support homosexuality and transgenderism. It's fundamentally against our beliefs. Under the SAVE Act, Trump announced that he will allow transgender surgeries for minors with parental consent.
Trump is now pro transgender surgery for minors. But there are two more bullet points here. He throws in no men in women's sports. Now, why is that even in this? This whole thing needs to be about voting. So here we go. Here comes the pork. Here comes the distractions. Here comes the noise. Good Lord. And then this is where it gets insane. Point number 5. No transgender mutilation surgery for children. Oh, okay, nice. Oh, wait, there's more? Without the express written approval of the parents? What? Trump is now pro, quote, transgender mutilation surgery for children. Why would Trump squeeze this into the Save America Act? I can only think of 2 reasons. One, he is just laughing at his supporters at this point. He is just mocking you. He is trolling you. He is seeing how far he can go and have these brainwashed morons continue to support him. Whacked out parents can just decide they want to mutilate their children and then go to a doctor and tell them to do it. And they can do it for political reasons. They can do it because they resent their partner. They can do it because they're whacked out of their mind for other reasons. And so this is Trump supports this now?
Further showing he does not care about his base, which are mostly Christian and conservative, and are not sadistic freaks that want to chop their children's reproductive organs off. Another big one for a lot of his supporters was that Trump actually campaigned on no new wars.
He said, look at him, he's going to start a war. I said, no, I'm going to stop wars. I'm going to stop them. Stop the chaos in the Middle East and prevent World War III, which is going to happen. World War III. We're closer to World War III than we have ever been. We don't need the wars, foreign lands, countries you've never heard of, countries that don't even want us there. This election is a choice between strength and weakness, competence and incompetence, peace and prosperity, or war or no war. They like a war. They love wars. You know, they love killing people.
Yet, unironically, he started the war with Iran, admittedly on the behest of Israel.
Big picture. But first, there's this clip of Trump 2 days ago. Trump explains why the U.S. has attacked Iran without provocation, sending the global economy into crisis. We're doing it to help Israel engulf dictatorships. And then Trump also said Thursday night, we played the clip on the Friday show yesterday, that, I don't really need the uranium. It's all been blown up. It's just a PR move. Yeah, exactly. Just an excuse to stay there. That's Israel has said that. It's a way to just keep claiming you have an excuse to go forever. Meanwhile, the strait's been closed for 76, 77 days. All hell's breaking loose. I got articles on that, but here's Trump.
We don't need it at all.
We don't need it at all.
We don't need it at all.
Fair enough. So,
I mean, you could make the case, like, why are we even, we're doing it to help Israel and to help Saudi Arabia and to help Qatar and UAE and, Kuwait and other countries, Bahrain.
It also helps China.
And I told them today, I said, we're helping you. And we're helping you in another way because I don't think China wants Iran to have a nuclear weapon either. I said, they're stone cold crazy. You don't need them having a nuclear weapon either.
What did he say?
Well, he's not going to respond too much. He's a pretty cool guy. He's not going to say, oh, gee, that's a good point.
I think he might.
What's he going to do? What a wonderful point.
You think he agreed?
Yeah, I think
that was the impression.
I don't think he wants them to have. No, he would like to see it end. But he's been good about it,
Xi Jinping, the dictator, he's a really great guy. I'm supposed to just love that. And then you got Mike Huckabee a few months ago told Tucker, yeah, Israel gets all the Middle East. They're taking it all, which they now admit they're doing. Yeah, Lebanon, we're taking it. Yep. Got a clip of that. And you're going to back in America, and we're going to have a national draft, and your kids, as the guy running against Massey says, we're going to have a draft now, ready now, because we're going to full world war. Those are quotes. Want to see the clip again? It was over an hour ago. I heard it. First clip I played.
And on the first day, bombed a school, killing and injuring over 100 innocent children.
Sheikh, and I'm standing right in front of what used to be the Minab School for Girls here in Iran. 156 children under the age of 12 killed by US military airstrikes. A scene that is very difficult to comprehend. The gravity and the extent of this crime is difficult to describe in this report. What you will see behind you is many people standing around what has almost become a symbol of the aggression that these children that should have had a future no longer have.
Well, forever wars are usually, you guessed it, forever. But so is the internet. Here's Tulsi Gabbard in 2020 when she was running for president.
We've got to stop Donald Trump from starting a war with Iran. I'm asking you to join me and support my legislation.
And here's J.D. Vance just a couple of years ago.
But America's interest is sometimes going to be distinct. Like sometimes we're going to have overlapping interests, and sometimes we're going to have distinct interests. And our interest, I think, very much is in not going to war with Iran, right? It would be a huge distraction of resources. It would be massively expensive to our country.
And here's the president himself.
We've spent $8 trillion in the Middle East, and we're not fixing our roads in this country. How stupid is it? And we're not fixing our highways, our tunnels, our bridges, our hospitals even, our schools even. It's crazy.
Now do you guys see why this guy was such a great asset for Israel?
And let's not forget how he funded Israel and allowed them to commit genocide in the Middle East with our tax dollars.
700,000 dead Palestinians. 75% of those are civilians, and half of the total number are children under the age of 5.
710. This is the number of days of absolute horror that the people in Gaza have endured. 65,000 is the number of Palestinians ascertained killed, including of which 75% are women and children. In fact, we shall start thinking of 680,000 because this is the number that some scholars and scientists claim being the real death toll in Gaza. And it will be hard to be able to prove or disprove this number, especially if investigators and others remain banned from entering the occupied Palestinian territory, and particularly the Gaza Strip. But if this number is confirmed, 380,000 of these are infants under 5.
You think that qualifies as a f***ing genocide? Donald Trump doesn't seem to think so because he wants a full pardon for the war criminal responsible for it. I mean, they're both the war criminals responsible for this, but he wants a full pardon by the Israeli government for Benjamin Netanyahu.
A pardon? I think he will. How do you not? He's a wartime prime minister who's a hero. How do you not give a pardon? You know, I think it's a very hard thing not to do it. I spoke to the president, and he tells me it's on its way.
Now, 680,000 people dead is a conservative number, and they'll probably never find out the complete total death toll in Gaza. Why? Because they're hiding the evidence. They've been hiding the bodies for the past 2 years. See, this is my personal friend, Anthony Aguilar. He's actually been to Gaza, and he's seen how they hide the bodies. This is Gaza today. There's tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of bodies, dead babies, dead children, dead bodies underneath this rubble. And what the Israelis will do is they will actually bulldoze the rubble on top of each other so that they can literally hide the bodies. Oh, and then Jared Kushner, Donald Trump's son-in-law, along with Donald Trump and other investors here from America and all around the world, want to invest in Gaza to build resorts and a smart city atop the bones of these dead Palestinian babies. F*** you.
And not to mention all the other wars going on that he said he was going to resolve but didn't. Under Trump, censorship has actually been getting even worse despite him running on ending it. He's heavily invested into AI projects, expanding the surveillance state under Palantir, building data centers all over the country that are going to increase the price on our water and utility bills and cause droughts and power throttling in different states. And by the way, here's what Palantir looks like.
I'm about to say could impact the rest of your life. A former Palantir executive blew the whistle yesterday, and what he said was honestly terrifying. He said, and I quote, "It is factually correct that Palantir intends to take over the U.S. government while heavily funding the effort. Many of my ex-colleagues are now installed inside the U.S. government. Our nation is an occupied nation. We basically have a terrorist entity deeply embedding itself into the U.S. government." Every U.S. citizen is now being surveilled by this one company that creates software that does only two things: mass surveillance and mass slaughter. Now, what does this $100 billion software actually look like and do? Well, This is it right here. This is a real picture of their software, Gotham, which is used to aggregate large surveillance lists to create kill lists, literally to gather data and create lists of people to kill. They also have a software called Mosaic, which is designed to scrape all of the information possible off of people from social media and the internet to gather data to then also what? What do you think? Go kill them. Their software was also used to create death robots that were used in the war in Israel to instantly kill people. Does this sound like a sci-fi movie, or is this one of the most evil and devious companies ever created?
This is Maven Smart System, Palantir's software as a service product that we are deploying across the entire department. As you can see, it's not just one data feed, it's multiple. And instead of having 8 or 9 systems for those decision makers to look at every single day in order for them to make decisions, you then fuse it into a single visualization tool. The single visualization tool allows you to select, deselect different types of data, look at different approaches to data, but more importantly, action from the same system that you're trying to develop your workflows around.
Another thing is that he's implementing hate speech laws against the tiny hat juice boxes.
There are 38 states that have anti-BDS laws. Are you kidding me? I thought this was the country of free speech. I thought this is the country of free association.
What do those
they
laws do?
make it so that if you work in the government, you cannot protest Israel. You can't boycott them. Like, you can't just be like, oh, people are just crazy.
No, they are, though.
Hold on. You can't just be like, oh, they're just seeing Jews everywhere.
They are.
When there is literally laws that protect Israel in a way that don't even protect Americans.
Even though conservatives are supposed to be anti-hate speech laws and pro-freedom of speech for everybody. Why can't we criticize this one group of people? Why are they protected so much? I wonder why. Because they control us. AI and social media platforms ban and censor people for speaking out against Israel, calling it anti-Semitism. Social media accounts are throttled. Companies are not allowed to boycott Israel. Immigrants that come into America cannot be anti-Israel or have anti-Israel stuff on their social media. And college kids get sent to jail for making jokes about Netanyahu. In fact, the censorship under Trump is so bad that I can't even pronounce the JEW word without this video getting demonetized and getting strikes on my channel. And it's just, everything literally proves the stereotype that these people control the world. And this is a perfect segue into the next topic. Genesis 12:13. I will bless those who bless you and curse those who curse you. If Israel is to be blessed, and all we've been doing is blessing them for the past 70 years, why is it that America just keeps getting worse? All these issues we already talked about, plus many more. Why does Israel, which is a foreign government, through foreign lobby groups like AIPAC, which is literally called the American Israeli Public Affairs Committee, brag about having the influence to elect 98% of our politicians? Why are we not allowed to criticize Israel? Or question them committing a genocide? Or why do we even send them billions of our tax dollars in the first place to commit genocides and start wars that have nothing to do with us? That's because the stereotype of Israel completely controlling us is true. Through the donor class, they influence everything, from our foreign affairs to our domestic policy. They made Trump go over and kiss the Wailing Wall in Israel, submitting his authority to Judaism, the same people that literally killed Jesus, and give him all the money he needs to stay quiet and let them run things in the background. He's taken more donor money than any other president in history. Trump is even on TV begging for a pardon for Netanyahu and his war crimes, and to let him off the hook for killing hundreds of thousands of innocent people and innocent children in the Middle East. Trump is completely owned by the globalists, and he does their bidding on the daily, which is why he is the way now, because he prioritizes Israel's interests over our own American interests. So Trump ran on fixing the economy, lowering the debt, tax breaks, and making everything more affordable for Americans. But did he actually do any of that? Let's find out together. Here's what the national debt was when first Trump got in office in 2016. And here's what the debt looks like now. From 19 trillion to 40 trillion in the span of 10 years. Yeah, we're fucking cooked. Here's gas prices in 2024, 2025, and 2026. And keep in mind, another one of his campaign promises was to make gas go below $2 again. But it looks like that's never going to happen either. Food prices, don't even get me started. In 2023, at the peak of Biden's inflation, 1 pound of 80/20 ground beef was $4.49 where I'm from. And today, that same 1 pound of ground beef has increased to $7.99 under Trump. And that's not it, unfortunately. Trump made a campaign promise to cut our energy prices in half. Here's the clip.
The Trump economic plan, we will cut your energy prices in half within, mark it down, and you can get very angry at me if we don't do it. Within 12 months, your energy prices will be cut in half. My plan will cut energy prices in half or more than that within 12 months of taking office. Number one, your energy bill within 12 months will be cut in half, and that's my pledge all over the country. Beyond farmers, that's my pledge all over the country.
Household electricity costs have risen over 13% and as high as 18% in some states across the country. And another big thing Trump is doing is allowing billionaires to build these huge data centers all across the country that are going to increase the prices even more and cause water and power shortages. Here's a clip of the data centers President Trump is allowing to be built.
Because everything really is bigger in Texas. This is Project Matador. This will be the largest data center in the entire world. To understand the actual size of this, it's 18 million square feet, okay? You could fit 15 Disneylands inside of this place, okay? 15. It would encompass the whole island of Key West. Wait till you hear how much power is used. 17 gigawatts, okay? To put that into perspective, it is literally enough power for 3 Irelands. It would power the whole state of Colorado and requires more power than the whole country of New Zealand 2.5 times. It would take literally 15 nuclear reactors just to produce enough power for this thing to run. Don't worry, guys, it only uses nearly 1 billion gallons of water a year just to operate.
Oh yeah, and don't forget, Trump is literally pushing digital ID to get us ready for the Mark of the Beast surveillance system. Trump claims the economy is booming and that it's the best it's ever been, as we're literally falling apart. And here he is on the news saying he doesn't care about us.
When you're negotiating with Iran, Mr. President, to what extent are Americans' financial situations motivating you to make a deal?
Not even a little bit. The only thing that matters when I'm talking about Iran, they can't have a nuclear weapon. I don't think about Americans' financial situation. I don't think about anybody. I think about one thing.
Trump promised that the tariffs would work and bring tremendous wealth and jobs back to our country. But over a year later, and we're still not seeing any evidence of that. And we still haven't gotten our $2,000 checks that he promised us.
Overseas now, and US President Donald Trump has vowed to give most Americans a $2,000 payment as a tariff dividend. It follows doubts raised by the Supreme Court over the legality of the president's authority to impose sweeping tariffs on most nations.
So not only did he not deliver on the checks, but he lied and said he forgot and doesn't remember ever promising it to us. Trump and RFK Jr. both ran on making America healthy again, but ended up doing the complete opposite.
All right, so Make America Maha, Make America Healthy Again is officially...
A promise to make America healthy again? Yeah, about that. It's been 1 year since RFK Jr. and the Maha movement took power at America's top health agencies. So let's check the scoreboard. The pitch was simple. Cleaner food, fewer toxic chemicals and pesticides, less corporate influence, and healthier kids. Honestly, sounds amazing. No notes. Except that's not what happened. Instead, the EPA rolled back major environmental protections, including repealing the finding that greenhouse gases endanger human health, gutting new drinking water limits for toxic PFAS chemicals, approving at least 5 PFAS pesticides, weaker rules to limit toxic mercury from coal-fired power plants, almost doubling the amount of formaldehyde that the EPA would consider safe to inhale, and firing thousands of key scientists and researchers. Because nothing says make America healthy like fewer health protections. Meanwhile, at the FDA, some of those promises to crack down on those harmful food chemicals, some of those pledges quietly disappeared, including banning certain toxic artificial food dyes. Even the Maha supporters were asking questions like, why are chemical protections being weakened instead of strengthened? You know, when your own fan club complains, maybe that's a sign you're doing it wrong. And despite big promises on pesticide reform and health changes, EPA action on many Maha priorities basically stalled. As a matter of fact, not only did they stall, they're implementing policies that they know are going to hurt Americans. Look at what RFK Jr. had to say about a cancer-linked pesticide called glyphosate just over a year ago.
Well, I believe that glyphosate causes cancer.
And yet, Trump's latest executive order is calling to increase the production of glyphosate, and with RFK promptly coming to his defense.
These moms held their nose and voted for Trump in 2024, and they're not sure that they're willing to vote red in the midterms again.
People versus poison! People versus poison!
So we're at the People vs. Poison rally in Washington, D.C., where a group of some of the biggest names in Maha have gathered together to protest against big companies that they say are poisoning Americans with chemicals.
You cannot tell Americans to eat real food while protecting the cancer-causing chemicals sprayed on it.
The Make America Healthy Again movement helped Trump win the presidency, but now its supporters are mad.
We are going to fight, fight, fight.
Maha is feeling betrayed and completely dissatisfied with what the administration has done.
We are on the brink of falling apart. I am diehard conservative, and I got this group of Maha moms, and I'm trying to keep us together.
Maha united under RFK Jr. They love that he'd fought a chemical company in court and won. But this week, the Trump administration supported the maker of that chemical in a Supreme Court case over whether Americans can sue for alleged harms from glyphosate exposure. And in February, Trump signed an executive order protecting glyphosate as crucial to the national security and defense. Bayer, who makes glyphosate, maintains it's safe.
I was disgusted. I was literally sick to my stomach. There were millions of Democratic and independent moms in particular that voted Republican because they believed Trump, that he was going to do something about pesticides in the
Not only did he cover up for pedos, Democrats, and foreign governments, but also for big agrochemical corporations that make us sick and subservient. So Trump has totally backflipped on many of his campaign promises. He failed the conservative movement by supporting anti-conservative policies, slammed his own supporters multiple times and said he doesn't care about them anymore. He sold us out to big pharma, mega corporations like Palantir, and to pedophiles, and to the deep state in Israel.
Thank you, Benjamin Netanyahu. Thank you.
It's also no secret that his entire family has profited more off his presidency than any other president.
Donald Trump is the most corrupt president in American history. It is not close. For nearly 50 years, every president separated their personal finances from the office. Jimmy Carter put his family peanut business in a trust so no one could claim he profited from his decisions. Ronald Reagan liquidated his investments in 1981 and handed them to an independent trustee with no contact and no control. George H.W. Bush did it. Bill Clinton did it. George W. Bush did it. Barack Obama kept his money in treasury bonds and owned no stock as president. Joe Biden held no individual stocks either. None were required to by law. They did it because they understood public office as a public trust, not a personal trading desk. Trump is shredding that tradition. No divestment or blind trust. His sons run a global business empire that cuts deals with foreign governments. His son-in-law manages billions for Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the UAE while serving as Trump's volunteer envoy on the war in Iran. He launched a personal cryptocurrency that foreign buyers use to funnel money straight to his family. And now we learn his account made 3,700 trades in a single quarter, more than 40 a day, in companies like NVIDIA, Oracle, Microsoft, and Boeing. Every one with billions riding on decisions his administration makes. We must put a stop to this. Ban stock trading for the president, vice president, cabinet, and every member of Congress.
He's a fake Christian that can't quote a single Bible verse.
You mentioned the Bible. You've been talking about how it's your favorite book. And you said, I think last night in Iowa, some people are surprised that you say that. I'm wondering what one or two of your most favorite Bible verses are and why.
I wouldn't want to get into it because to me that's very personal. You know, when I talk about the Bible, it's very personal, so I don't want to get into verses. I don't want to get into...
There's no verse that means a lot to you that you think about or cite?
The Bible means a lot to me, but I don't want to get into specifics.
Even to cite a verse that you like?
No, I don't want to do that.
You're an Old Testament guy or a New Testament guy?
Probably equal. I think it's just an incredible... The whole Bible is an incredible... I joke.
He congratulates his daughter for converting to Judaism and rejecting Christ.
Let me also give a very special thanks to someone who truly loves Israel. In fact, loves it so much that my daughter converted. My daughter converted. I didn't know this was going to happen.
He's kissed the Wailing Wall. He's admitted he's not going to make it to heaven, and he mocks and blasphemes Christ by pretending to be God. As a Trump supporter myself since the very beginning, we have been totally betrayed by the Trump administration, and it's time to rise up against it. We now have all the proof we need that the two-party system will never work, and Trump was the last resort. Join resistance movements like Patriot Front at patriotfront.com and other nationalist movements like the American Reich at americanreichllc.com to actually help push back against the deep state and help save America from the satanic pedophiles that run our country. God bless you guys, and don't forget, fuck Donald Trump.